Present two similar builds in this video, one for Shaman and one for Oracle, both based around Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm is a new skill that works very nicely with the lightning trigger supports Coursing Current and Static Shock. Coursing Current spawns a chaining lightning projectile towards a nearby drenched enemy, when the skill it supports shocks an enemy. Thunderstorm drenches enemies in its area on top of striking them with lightning. We can guarantee a shock every time Thunderstorm hits thanks to Shock Conduction, another support, that grants the supported skill always shock drenched targets. So basically every time Thunderstorm strikes, we get an arc chaining out of each enemy. Static Shocks is another support triggered on shocking, which creates a pulsating area of lightning damage. It's less useful for clearing, but pretty nice for single target boost. And finally, Electromagnetism is another trigger support, but I don't use it anymore since my damage kills most enemies instantly. But it is a fun defensive layer before you reach that point, by creating pulling areas when shocking free-packed enemies. The result is kind of a totem playstyle. You drop down a Thunderstorm and it will take care of the enemies you run past. At first I went for Shaman to try scaling spells with Rage, using the Ascendancy, the spell damage passive, and maybe use Batter's Vengeance again. But playing more and more with Apocalypse, I noticed it carries my single target DPS a lot. And I wanted to use the Bonded Idols for +1 storm limit. So I did not have enough points to use Rage at the same time, but I think it's a viable choice instead of the Bonded Idols. I decided to go with an Archmage setup since it works well with long-lasting spells, as you pay the mana cost only once. I also experimented with cast on Elemental Ailment, but it didn't feel super worth it, requiring a lot of additional spirit and mana recovery. Mind Over Matter made it difficult to sustain mana, so I went with Partial Mom with Cloak of Defiance and the passive tree. I'm not using the Wild Surge incantation Keystone, because it affects only the damage of the storm itself and not the triggers, so with Overabundance, the storm lasts 7.2 seconds, which is way more than enough. In the end, I respect to Oracle, which allows a lot of passive Triggermaxxing, and I integrated plants with Entangle and Crashing Vines in the build, but Thunderstorm remains my main spell. I tried Cast on Crit for a while, but even with energy gain passes, I didn't find it proc often enough to feel worth it, but I'm a bit inexperienced with that kind of build, so maybe I missed something. Also, it requires a lot more spirit and mana recovery. Overall, I think the Oracle version is better. It allows for more min-maxing and consistent damage without relying on Apocalypse. I think the build is also viable on Stormweaver, and then we don't need Overabundance. But if I make one, I will probably focus on Firestorm, since it's the Ascendancy that makes it work best with infusions. The gear is a very standard Archmage with Eldritch Battery setup, high ES armor, max life, max mana, mana regen and cast speed, but we look for a generic all level of spells on the wand, because we use spells of different elemental types. I decided not to give out every single detail in this video to keep it shorter and sweeter, so I'll link the full builds in the description. If you have any questions, please comment, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.